Mamma mia! Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. It's a me, Tiki.
And man-eating wraith.
And welcome to a catch-up podcast for So You Want to Be an Imagineer Season 14.
Finally!
Greatest hits. Yeah, wow. We really dropped the ball on podcast, didn't we?
How many weeks behind are we?
Oh God, I don't even want to know at this point. I mean, I technically did do a video 2 weeks ago, with the results for the round before the semifinals. But the only reason I did that video was because my keyboard was randomly not working. Remember that night, Garrett? That was
Yes. Fun. I was at work and I was like, oh shoot. I'm like, this is kind of an emergency. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna take my break. And I took my break and I was like, speed post.
I was like trying to I was like messaging you on Facebook with audio clips like, hey, post this on WDW Magic.
And of course I couldn't listen to them.
And so I had to have Monkey translate
so
for
Rob
me.
Translated, yeah.
Oh God.
It worked.
It did. So folks, what we're going to do, we're going to go over the semifinals projects from Basket Buddy and Snoopy. Then we're going to talk about the final project, kind of hype it up, give our predictions and whatnot, give a run through of the jury, and then go back and talk about your your Universal Blue Sky projects from last round.
Yes, sir.
All right. And it is a little early in the morning for podcasting, man, so I apologize if I'm not as peppy as I usually am.
Same here. I lead an active lifestyle. Which is why I'm probably going to Olive Garden at 11. So, I'm also dying. So there's that.
So let's get started with Basket Buddy's projects. He did a Pokemon and a Mario project. Let's start with Super Sunshine Soakers.
Woo! It's a me, Mario.
I'm kind of running out of things to say about Basket Buddy projects besides just fantastic detail, amazing artwork. It's all really good.
What's spooky about this artwork is it looks like it's directly from Super Mario Sunshine.
I know.
Not even Super Mario Sunshine, like an HD Wii U Nintendo Switch remaster.
Right.
Like if you look at it, like there's more detail than in the GameCube game. Like Mario looks like Mario from that new Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
Like the wanted posters, the building texture, the palm trees, the sky, everything looks so real.
It's interesting that Basket Buddy chose to do a flat ride.
Yes, I wish it was a dark ride or even like a Toy Story Mania type dark ride.
I honestly don't mind that it isn't because I just found the actual flat ride mechanics to be really creative.
Oh, of course, and like I do agree with you. Like, I should have said, were it me, I would have done a dark ride.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mario and Zelda are two properties that kind of lend themselves to an e-ticket dark ride or even a C-ticket.
Right.
Zelda not so much. Mario would be more of a C-ticket.
Zelda would definitely be the e-ticket, yes.
Even though we all know Universal's plans for a Donkey Kong minecart coaster.
Which, oh my God.
And double dash Mario Kart simulator. Say otherwise.
I hope for the love of God that Donkey Kong coaster actually happens because the technology at play there would just be insane.
Mm-hmm.
And the technology at play with that Donkey Kong ride is actually kind of similar to what Basket Buddy's doing with this.
Yeah.
Where he's using like the metal bar to hoist guests up, but having something blocking it in the process.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what we're talking about with the Donkey Kong thing, just look up Game Explain Nintendo Universal.
Well, just to make a long story short with that, the Donkey Kong ride, there's going to be two separate tracks. There's going to be the actual track that your vehicle is on, and then there's going to be a false facade mine train track that looks like your vehicle is traveling on. And the gimmick is that your vehicle is going to be attached to like a 10-foot pole that has the ability to like jump over these gaps in the mine train cart.
Mm-hmm.
The mine train track. So
yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Just like this project.
And like I said, it's very similar. I love the gameplay elements to it. I love how there's a lot of rewritability here.
Yeah. Oh god, look at that! And you know what's funny? I'm so glad he picked that world in particular.
Isle Delfino.
This particular world or level in Isle Delfino, Bianca, I think it's Bianca or Blanca or something hills. Like the tower up there, that's where the windmill is.
Right.
And I could just hear the music, and I could picture Petey Piranha flying around vomiting sludge. It's just so it hits close to my childhood.
Super Mario Sunshine is actually like one of the few Mario games I've never really played.
Oh, it's so good.
I know. I've heard that from other people. I need to get on it.
The problem people have with it is the voice acting. Which, yeah, it's a little hammy, but it's early Nintendo voice acting. It's early. Like, Breath of the Wild is like the pinnacle of Nintendo voice acting.
Right.
Whereas Super Mario Sunshine, like, Bowser talks like this.
Right.
But the other problem people have with it is, whereas Super Mario 64 had different themes to each world, like a snow world, a lava world, a desert world, a beach world, like, you know, stuff like that, a fortress. Super Mario Sunshine was all tropical.
Sure.
Every world had some kind of tropical or jungle or water theme to it. So there was no variety in the sense that there was different elements, but for whatever reason, the variety was still there to me. Like, they themed every world.
I've heard that the levels in Sunshine are actually like really good.
They are, and there's so much to do, and there's so much replayability. Like the theme park level, there's a mission where you have to hatch a Yoshi, and then attach the Yoshi's body to a Yoshi carousel, and then you get warped into a maze where you have to. It's so weird and so wonderful, and I love it so much. So Sunshine was the route to go for me. A close second would be Galaxy.
Yeah, Galaxy is a spectacular video game, I think.
Absolutely.
I think the best 3D Mario game.
I would disagree and say Super Mario 64 is still my favorite.
Nah, Mario 64 hasn't aged well.
Just for nostalgia purposes.
I understand nostalgia. Like, look, if anyone has nostalgia for Mario 64, it's me, man. I shit my pants in Target when I saw that game demo. You know what I mean?
Right?
It's like, but I don't know. I just think Mario Galaxy is just so well refined, and it's like the Rolls Royce of platformers.
Even Galaxy 2 is amazing.
I haven't played Galaxy 2.
It's really good. You have Yoshi in it too. Yeah. So, anyways, I
also need to play Mario 3D World. I played through 3D Land and I loved it.
Oh, 3D World is so good. Right. It's not like a typical. It's more like 3D Land.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a typical Mario platformer in the sense that there's a big storyline where you.
If it's more of the same of 3D Land, then I'm down because 3D Land is spectacular.
It's like that, and like the final boss battle is incredible.
All right, but enough with our personal Nintendo ramblings.
Yeah.
I love the coin system in this ride. I love I especially love the blue coin that pops out at the end. And I also love the fact that Basket Buddy made it so that if you don't really care about the gameplay and you want to just like have fun and spin around, you can totally do that.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like a more refined version of what the Flying Saucers tried to do with that sort of like freedom with the ride experience.
Yes.
So yeah. Really, really solid work here. Obviously, the concept art is spectacular, as you can see.
Even now, like, look at that.
Right?
Look at that. That's amazing.
So very, very good job on that. Now let's get to the
Pokemon. Oh wait, no, there's more.
Well, yeah.
We talked
through all of it. Yeah. Gotta catch 'em all, my heart's so true. Our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you.
Basket Buddy.
All right, we're dorks.
And now for something completely different.
Yes, Pokemon Master Quest. This is another spectacular idea.
Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Yeah, gotta catch them all. Do you remember that theme song?
Of course I do. Come on, man.
Who doesn't? Every day, 4 o'clock, kids WB.
Yep. You'd
All
like
right.
get home early from school, and like what would be on before then? Like fucking Digimon, and you'd be like, screw Digimon.
No, Digimon was on 11, channel 11.
God.
I think it was Animaniacs was usually on
That
before
sounds
Pokemon.
about right.
And I would, of course, I'd watch that too. But I would do my homework right at 3, try to finish it all, and then by 4 o'clock, Pokemon would be on, and I would usually call my friend Luke after the episode, and we'd like talk about like, whoa, did you see when Ash caught that Sunflora? Or, oh wow, Scyther, or you know.
Right. Oh God.
So God, Pokemon was my life growing up.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Another project that it's close to home, like Basket Buddy. You picked the two most nostalgic driven prompts ever.
Which I think was very intentional on his part. He did get the pick of the litter here, and I think he picked well in terms of, you know, the two. The only thing I'm surprised with Basket Buddy selections is that Zelda didn't get picked at all.
I wish it did, because I would kill to see some more artwork from him about Zelda.
I know, right?
I remember season 9?
Yeah, it was season 11 actually. The Torrents of the New World.
Yeah, that Wind Waker style concept art. Oh God, so good. Maybe he picked these two because he had already done Zelda.
I mean, that could be. I was saying more like I was surprised he didn't give someone else Zelda.
That's true. I wish he did, just because you know how I am with Zelda.
I'm like one of the few people in the Nintendo fan base that doesn't really care for Zelda.
Oh God, Zelda! Oh, that's my favorite. Zelda's my favorite.
It's most people's favorite. I like Wind Waker. I don't know. I've told this before, but like I have most of my childhood memories of Zelda don't involve me playing Zelda. It involves like me watching either my sister or my cousin play Zelda. And so that kind of skewed the experience for me a little bit.
That's probably how my friends see it, because they would watch me play Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was with my sister and my cousin with Ocarina of Time. I've seen so much Ocarina of Time footage. It was like Let's Plays before Let's Plays.
Jeez. But Pokemon.
Yes.
Focal point here.
Okay, so yeah, I love the fact that he creates a new town in the Kanto region.
Yes.
Very appropriate. I think he learned well from the success of Pokemon Go that the original 150 Pokemon are essential for the fan base, and we really don't care about the other ones all that much.
I do care about the Johto Pokemon.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, some of the early, some of the like phase 2, phase 3 Pokemon, they're fine. It's just like when it gets into, it's like I'm trying to play through. I'm trying to play through Pokemon Sun.
Yeah.
And I just can't get into it because like all the Pokemon, I'm just like, I'm not familiar with this Pokemon. I'm not like, I don't know.
Yeah, same here. They're with Sun, Moon, Black, White, and yeah, those 4, they tried like starting over from scratch to give that experience of like discovery.
Yeah, I mean, I played through Pocket Mortys last summer, and I find Pocket Mortys to be a more enriching Pokemon style experience.
I would love
kind of bad because that game is just kind of a bunch of random encounters.
I know for the 3DS, you can get Red, Blue, and Yellow.
Can you?
Yeah, like the original ports. Like,
I mean, that's fine, except I don't have the time to like play through those games again. That would be a big time suck for me.
Same. Yellow version though, can you imagine where they get all 3 starters and Pikachu?
Pokemon Yellow is a very difficult game. I've said this before because you start out at the Rock Gym.
Yes.
With an electric type as your main Pokemon. And that's like, so Pokemon Yellow basically forces you to level grind at the beginning.
Well,
in order to beat Brock.
Or you follow the player's guide which I didn't do. I did beat Brock with Pikachu.
Okay.
But years later, I was looking at a player's guide, and they're like, Wild Mankey are available outside Viridian City. And fighting is super effective against Rock.
Right.
So Mankey, which knows, like, I don't know what move, I'm going to say Mach Punch or something like that. That's how you're supposed to beat Brock, but you're supposed to know that Mankey's right there. And if you don't know that, you're going into a battle with a level 12 Onix and whatever level Pikachu who just barely survived Viridian Forest. So it's
you remember some of the urban legends in the Pokemon games, like that Mewtwo that was supposed to be at the Cerulean City dock?
Yes, or on top of Rock Mountain. Have you ever heard that one?
I think so.
There was this in elementary school. There was this rumor that you could go on top of Rock Mountain or Rock Tunnel. Sorry, Rock Tunnel. And there was a volcano, and you could go to the volcano, and there was a trainer there, and if you beat him, he would give you a Venustoise.
Oh God!
like in the anime. There's an episode where Tiki used flamethrower. There's an episode in the anime where a Ghastly is haunting this port, like this village, and he's trying to scare the characters, and he's like, "Wait until you see my Venustoise," and he combines a Venusaur and Blastoise. Hey, anyways, we're veering off topic because we're feeling nostalgia.
Remember the Master Ball in the garbage can?
Yes.
Okay. That's it. That's all I wanted to
bring up.
Okay. So yeah, Pine Point. It's like I said, it's a really cool idea to have this like out of the way town in the middle of the more competitive Kanto region.
Yes. It looks like a Kanto town.
It absolutely does, which is very
impressive. Look at that building.
Yeah.
That looks like Ash's or Red's house.
Okay, and of course, probably the thing I love the most about this whole project is just the incorporation of the Magikarps.
Yes.
Just because it's a detail that like you don't need at all. You know what I mean? Like the land would be just fine without it. But at the same time, it's kind of like that Walt Disney philosophy, like the Ray Bradbury, like, you know, like Disneyland's all about those little details you didn't know you need until you put them there, and then you realize you needed them all along. And I feel like that's like these Magikarps would just add such an air of ambiance to the experience of just walking through this.
Yes, and Magikarp is the grunt of the Pokemon army.
Totally.
What I like even more is the Mark Woodbury interview picture.
Right.
Basket Buddy did something similar in a project we worked on together, Mickey's Madcap Circus, where he photoshopped Walt and Art Linkletter.
Oh yeah! Oh my God!
Into a television screen with the facade of Madcap Circus.
Oh, that was fucking crazy.
It was so real. I mean, obviously it wasn't real. But for what Basket Buddy's skill level was at that time, it was amazing. So, anyways, altogether a stellar project, a worthy admission into the semifinals or into the finals.
Yeah, I mean let's talk through it a little bit more in detail.
Yes, of course.
I love the idea that the bike shop is the exterior. That's something that I would never have thought of for Pokemon Interaction, but it just fits so naturally.
Oh, it's a part of every game.
Yeah, totally. Like, I mean, you would think, like, for me, just thinking about it, like, you would think that a gym would be the natural, like, either a gym or Professor Oak's lab would be, like, the natural exterior to a Pokemon ride.
I would have done Professor Oak's lab.
And I like how those things are present, especially the gym, but they're just kind of facades to help add to the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of the way that the Toontown facades work.
Yeah, it's very like, it's something else, but you go in and it's something. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like how it's a cab code that you enter for Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, you know, the warehouse for the Gag Factory or, you know, stuff like that.
Or Toad Hall and Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Right, right.
Well, that makes more sense. But yeah, anyways.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about the ride system here, which is kind of like ET on steroids.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Oh yeah, it totally is.
It's so clever. It's clever, and it just really immerses you into the Pokemon world.
Uh-huh.
That's so smart. Like, see, oh god, see, like I would have been like stumped thinking of this. I would have done like the bottom shell of a Pokeball, or
My go-to Pokemon ride vehicle is the Pokemon Snap vehicle.
oh, see that even that would have been cool,
Uh-huh.
or a static Tauros.
Right, right.
Like you have it'd be like the flight of passage for
Oh,
Pandora.
yeah, like the Banshee, right,
You
right.
hold on to the horns for
Oh
Tauros,
god.
and it's an EMV, and you go through the Safari Zone or
Oh
whatever.
man. Oh man.
But the Pokemon Snap would have been brilliant too.
Yeah, but Pokemon Snap's been done, so I'm glad
That's
that
very
Basket Buddy didn't go in that direction.
so. Yay, bikes!
Although I don't know, like I still think if Universal wants to do Pokemon Snap would be like a very logical way to go.
Like, that'd be a good interactive dark ride, like even in like the vein of Toy Story or
Oh,
Monsters Inc. Ride and Go Seek.
oh, it'd totally be like Monsters Inc. Ride and Go Seek. I didn't even
Like
think of that.
yeah, like that game. It's not necessarily about the points, but it's still interactive to the point where you capture them. You know, you're capturing moments.
Right. Um,
So
I on that subject, I'm very shocked that Nintendo never did a follow up to Pokemon Snap.
supposedly there was supposed to be one.
Uh huh.
I think it was going to be the Johto, and I think Johto is my favorite generation
Uh
because that
huh.
was very exciting to me and very again, it's all nostalgia driven.
Of course.
But Johto was very you could catch everything.
It's just, could you imagine a modern day Pokemon Snap with like motion controls and like like HD graphics and shit?
What they'd have to do is make it more less. They'd have to make it less straightforward and more open world.
I guess, but I don't. I think if they just really fine tune the rail shooter element, they could still do it as a rail shooter.
Well, that's fine. That's what I mean. Like if they kept it as a rail shooter, but like they gave you more freedom, is what I said. Because like if you remember in Pokemon Snap, if you didn't beat a certain level or like unlock the thing, you would be stuck with a few different levels.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, your scan is about to start, by the way.
My what?
Your McAfee security scan.
Oh, what the hell? How do you know that?
It's popping up on the screen share.
It is? I don't
Yeah,
see it.
it says, "Oh, it's mine."
I was like, what are you talking about, Garrett? I don't see any antivirus thing up
That's
here.
hilarious. It was mine. Never mind. You're good.
Okay, okay.
It's sharing with me, not with you. God, that's funny. But with Pokemon Snap, if you didn't unlock certain things, you would be stuck in the same level for hours.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear
And
you.
then you're just doing the same rail shooter over and over until you finally figure out what to do.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I guess that adds an element, but you know, I can only do the volcano level so many times, which was my favorite level, by the way,
Right.
because you know Charizard.
Okay, let's talk through these. I love the video game controls on here.
Yes.
Um Gotta say I'm a bit skeptical about the capacity.
What's the refresh me on the capacity?
I mean, he never really outwardly said what the capacity is, but I'm just doing the math on it. Like, these vehicles obviously only fit one person. There's like rows of three vehicles, but they keep splitting off as the ride goes on.
That would
Uh,
be the only downfall, just for the sake of young children.
right, right, exactly,
Some people
exactly.
can't ride alone because they're too little, and then you know that would add a height limit or
I
a
mean,
age.
I could totally see Universal making a making like a sidecar, like vehicles with sidecars.
That would make sense.
Hmm.
It would be difficult. They'd have if they didn't do the sidecar even. they'd have to do something along the lines of making an age limit or a height restriction.
Which you
And
don't
that-
want to do with Pokemon.
No, because Pokemon's target audience is 20 to 30-year-olds. And then after
Thank you. Yes.
after that, it's 5 to 10-year-olds.
Oh, what
It's
does that
true.
say about us? What does that say about us, Carrot?
It says that we are men.
Children.
We were born in the 90s.
Oh God.
Now that we're men, we can do anything. Now that we're men, we are invincible. Now that we're men. Anyways.
So yeah, I really like the how functional the touch controls are, how it's mostly only used for picking your starter Pokemon and then picking ride paths, but it just, like I said, it feels very functional, very realistic. Like, it doesn't try to incorporate like everything, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like sometimes, especially like my worry with the Millennium Falcon ride, which I've gone on record many times, is that I worry that that's going to focus so much on like interactivity that it's going to come at the cost of like practicality.
It's shameful to say that I could care less about the Millennium Falcon ride.
No, I'm kind of in the same boat.
I am more excited for Battle Escape because a Star Wars Dark Ride has not been done.
Yeah.
And I really hope it's in the same vein as Racers or Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I've heard
hoping
something about Battle Escape having like 500 Stormtrooper animatronics or something.
I think it was 100.
Like
I think it was 100 stormtroopers.
Yeah.
The show building is huge. I was at the parks 2 weeks ago, and walking by Star Wars Land at the parking structure. Holy cow! The building is it looks like it's going to be larger than Indy.
Oh wow!
And as of right now, the not fully grown trees in Frontierland, you can see the top of the show building peeking over right now.
Oh my god! And that's saying something about being bigger than Indy, because I imagine the queue doesn't need to be quite as ridiculously long as Indy, because the queue with Indy, of course, functions as like actually physically getting you into the show building.
The queue for Indy is also it's also, I think it's 1 kilometer or something like that.
So you know what I mean? Like I feel like these days, like the queue would be more kind of
switchbacks.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so it less like kind of like walking like in a straight line for like 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah, Indy's supposed to make you feel like you've already been on the adventure before you get to the real adventure.
Right. Whereas I feel like Battle Escape, like you could do the more traditional queue that requires less space, and then what I'm getting at is having like all that space for a huge show building.
Supposedly, if Mice Chat is correct, which so far they've been pretty correct with most things in their Star Wars Land rumors. Like that, you've probably seen that map that they have. The queue is going to be separate from the show building itself.
Okay, I like that.
It's
kind of like
be
Everest.
Yeah, it's going to be like in a separate bit of forest or something like that.
Right. Okay.
Like supposedly the Great Reveal, because the queue is going to be close to Critter Country. The Grand Reveal from the Rivers of America. You're going to go past Hungry Bear, walk past the rivers. You're going to go around
and then you're going to walk past the new Country Bear Theater.
I wish. We'll talk about that some other time. You go around underneath the railroad tracks, behind the waterfalls.
Oh wow!
And then supposedly the forest is going to be.
Wait. So you're going underneath the railroad tracks. So you're like walking along the river at that point.
The path is going to go past the river along.
Oh wow!
It's going to be like the Phantasmic viewing in a sense.
That's going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy. Just walking right along the river.
Right. It's so close too. So you're going to walk past the river, go under the railroad tracks, around the waterfalls, and supposedly the Grand Reveal from the Critter Country side of things is the forest is going to be a natural transition from Critter Country, but all of a sudden X-Wings and
oh my god, oh that's so awesome! I'm geeking
things like
out.
that, right? They're going to start appearing.
TIE fighters, ATSTs.
Yes. Like the rocks are going to start like being more otherworldly than the Rivers of America, and then you're going to see X-Wings and things like that. and then the queue's going to be right there, and then all of a sudden there's the spaceport.
That sounds beautiful.
That's going to be the Critter Country reveal, and then the Frontierland one is less exciting as that, but it's still going to be beautiful. And
isn't that going to be like more of a desert transition?
Yes, and from the look of Big Thunder Trail, it's going to be very...
I mean, Big Thunder Trail looks crazy right now. It's like Cars Land.
It looks better than what was there before.
Yeah, easily, yeah.
That's the funny part. Like, what was there before was there were still some buttes and things, but it was more full forest.
Yeah, and it was really more just you know, kind of just hugging Big Thunder Mountain, and Big Thunder Mountain was more kind of the focal point.
But to me, the new look works better.
Mm-hmm.
It works. It's more tasteful, and I wish it was there before. But I don't know.
You remember the Home on the Range petting zoo?
Yeah, Little Patch of Heaven.
Yes.
I remember. It was terrible. Anyhow, back to Pokemon.
Yeah. So
we just went on a tangent about Star Wars Land for 2 hours.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, it's okay. We have a Siskel and Ebert dynamic going.
Right. Okay, so I don't really have much to say about the actual attraction, other than like I said, I just think it's all very practical. The interactivity is just enough to engage you and make you feel like you're part of the story without overwhelming you, like I worry that Millennium Falcon's gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, I really like the idea of kind of like the Radiator Springs Racer style, like different rooms for the starter Pokemon, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, and then so let's just talk about this Matrix.
Matrix.
What would you do if I told you this Pokemon attraction was actually real life?
Where's Keanu Reeves?
Okay.
In a Pokemon movie, Keanu Reeves would play Professor Oak.
No. Gary Oldman needs to play Professor Oak.
No, but Keanu Reeves could be like, "Whoa, Ash! What kind of Pokemon do you want to
start?" If we're getting into live-action Pokemon casting, I have it. I have the whole cast. All right.
Giovanni's played by Robert De Niro, correct?
I wasn't. I was actually going with Vincent D'Onofrio as Giovanni.
That works too.
And Jesse would be Emma Stone, and James would be Justin Long.
That's pretty funny. And can Meowth be voiced by Nathan Lane?
Sure. Although I don't know, I with Meowth, I kind of want it to just be the original anime voice actor or the dub actor from the cartoon.
Well, as long as Mewtwo is voiced by Anthony Hopkins.
Oh God, no, Mewtwo is Liam Neeson.
Oh no, Liam Neeson would voice Lugia.
Oh God.
Like Aslan, but you know.
Well, if we're going with the Aslan parallel, then it would clearly be Entei.
That's true. Liam Neeson would be Entei. Anthony Hopkins would be Mewtwo, and what's his name? Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman would be Lugia.
All right.
Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos.
Oh God.
Would you like to do the march of the Piplups?
Okay,
anyways.
so as you can see here, let's just talk through the ride system just using this Matrix. I really like the like you said, the split off into the different show scenes. The only thing I'm skeptical of is the capacity and how that would work with just like literally like one person, like one singular person going through these showrooms. It's like, could you imagine how terrible the capacity for Pirates would be if there was like one singular person going through each scene at a like, right?
And considering we're at an all-time high for theme park popularity.
Yeah. Especially with Pokemon.
Even Universal, like if you look at crowds, like every queue is crowded nowadays.
Oh, I know.
Doesn't matter what theme park. I mean, unless it's Knott's or Six Flags, but
yeah, Six Flags. I was about to say, like, yeah, Six Flags is pretty decent.
Disney and Universal are at their peak right now. Like I've never seen Disneyland so crowded.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there would be a queue, and you need good capacity, or you're going to have a 7-hour wait.
Oh, thank God I'm going to Disneyland next during the not so scary Halloween party.
That is not bad. I think the only wait is literally for Ghost Galaxy and Haunted Mansion Holiday.
And I don't even care about Haunted Mansion Holiday at all.
Yeah, I know that. You could go
Although
see.
Monkey will probably make me go on it anyways.
Just go on it right before the party ends.
Oh God, I fucking hate Haunted Mansion Holiday. I really do. I really hate that ride. It doesn't do anything for me. Like I thought, I thought when I went on it in December, I'd turn around on it, but no. I'm like, this is shit. This is a shitty ride.
How dare you?
I know. It's an unpopular opinion. Jingle Cruise is way better than Haunted Mansion Holiday. Way better.
I'm worried for the fate of Jingle Cruise once the Rock movie comes out.
Oh God.
Anyhow, it's a Basket Buddies Pokemon ride. It's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
The main issue is capacity, I think.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay, let's get into Snoopy stuff really quick. He's not quite as in depth with his stuff. Very, very interesting ride systems, though.
Yes.
We have Star Fox, which, like, logically, Manning Reed, logically, you would do a Star Tours clone with Star Fox, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my idea for a Star Fox ride has always been like you'd get into one of 4 Star Speeder type vehicles, and each of the 4 of them would be piloted by a different Star Fox character.
Mm-hmm.
And so each of the 4 simulations would be slightly different, based on like what character is flying your R-Wing.
Mm-hmm.
And but
the way I would do it is Kuka Arm.
Yeah, sure.
Like a hybrid simulator Kuka Arm, but like 4 to a pod. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that would be a more intimate R-Wing type situation.
Right, I hear you.
But still,
Snoopy went with something that I don't think any of us were expecting, which I still don't know how to take this. He went with the Heartline Twister.
It's ingenious.
I mean, it does do a damn good barrel roll.
I think that's what his idea, where it came from.
Right.
I really wouldn't have thought of it, to be honest.
I mean, the only thing I know about Heartline Twisters is that they are by far the most difficult rides to design for in Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Right. It's just like, oh God.
I don't even think I bothered. I always did the steel loop coaster.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I think this is a really interesting kind of like take on a Heartline Twister. I like how it has different modifications, like like the changing floors and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
The changing floors thing, Manning Reed, that's something that is working its way through a lot of roller coasters nowadays. I've noticed is kind of like roller coasters will have like almost like free fall sections.
Yes.
And that's something I actually came up with for a King Kong attraction way back in the day. Way back in the day. Like way back when the Peter Jackson King Kong first came out.
Like dinosaur times.
Pretty much, yes. 2005, the ye old days.
That's what I told. Side note, a couple days ago at work, a little kid was like, "I'm celebrating my first communion," and I was like, "Man, my first communion was." And then I thought about it, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Dinosaurs still existed when it was my first communion."
Right.
I'm like, I'm getting old.
Yep. Well,
just gets worse.
I'm like 3 years older than you, so
I know.
Tight.
I know. I'm not. It just gets every year. It feels different.
Oh, you don't know. You don't know. Wait till you go past 25.
That's what I've been told.
Anyways, I don't know. There's some practicality here that I'm worried about. Like for example, I just don't know what company manufactures Heartline Twister rides anymore. Like you wouldn't want to get something from the Togo company. You know what I mean?
Togo. Well, let's see. Heartline coasters. It's actually a pipeline roller coaster. It's called Pipeline is the actual name.
Uh-huh.
And it's a roller coaster model where the trains ride between the tracks as opposed to a traditional roller coaster where they ride above them. The concept was first developed by a Japanese ride company, Togo,
Yes.
and was known as the Ultra Twister. Aerodynamics created an alternate version of the concept, but never made past the prototype stage in development. Intamin also experimented with the pipeline concept and built and relocated one model known as the Spiral Coaster, but it's no longer operating. So Togo is the only one.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about. That's what I'd be worried about is like, you know, like the Heartline Twister roller coaster is such a specific, like it's not just like a regular tubular steel where, you know, like there's a lot of companies that can just easily do like a knockoff B&M, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
There are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in existence.
Yeah. So that worries me slightly. They're
all built by Togo with the exception of one that's closed. And out of the ones that are operating by Togo, 1, 2, 3 of them are defunct.
You know what would be amazing though? If Rocky Mountain Construction did a Heartline twist. Because Rocky Mountain Construction, they're doing the T-Rex and Raptor coasters, which are single rail monorail coasters.
Okay.
And so I could, like, I don't know, like, basically what I'm saying is that Rocky Mountain Construction is like the coaster company that I trust the most these days. And if they took on that project, I could see them doing great things with it.
Okay.
And it's interesting because Rocky Mountain has not, they haven't gone to a big, like either a Disney or a Universal park yet, mostly because their coasters are traditional wooden roller coasters or wooden roller coaster conversions, and Disney and Universal Studios, neither of those companies, I believe, have a wooden roller coaster between all of their parks. Could you imagine an RMC Matterhorn?
Whoa. Matterhorn's Arrow, correct?
Yes. Matterhorn was the first Arrow. Anyways, so you know what I'm saying though. It's like unless you had like a really, really reliable coaster manufacturer basically kind of like patenting this technology for you, this ride system, it'd be kind of tricky.
Yes.
Like it's not as easy as just like, hey, Togo. You know what I mean? Because first of all, Togo rides infamously awful.
Yeah.
The roller coaster at Las Vegas.
Togo or no go.
Right.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna tell you something. Now the characters, Peppy, Slippy, all them, they're a part of the ride, correct?
Yeah. They're on screens.
My question is, do they have robotic legs?
Oh my god.
You know why, right?
Yes. It's that would be a very dark part of a Star Fox movie if they ever made one.
For those of you who don't know, the Star Fox characters have robotic legs because of circulation or something like that, right?
Yeah, circulation, and it's just like the R wings are just designed to be very very small.
Yeah, so they have to have robotic legs so they don't get blood clots.
Right.
Ah, fun fact. It's just a theory, a game theory.
All right, so let's talk about Kid Icarus, Palace in the Sky. To tell you the truth, I like the ride system that Snoopy developed here with the arrows, like the bow and arrows that shoot water. That's cool. It kind of reminds me of the Tsunami Soaker system that Six Flags has at some of their parks. Having said that, I don't necessarily like the dark ride angle here. I think the dark ride angle kind of meshes with the shooting elements in kind of a weird way. I don't know. I just think this would have functioned better as just kind of like maybe a more high-end Tsunami Soaker where you're just in a Kid Icarus environment and you're shooting at other vehicles. That being said, I do like the fact that he specifically makes it so that there's all these different points in which the vehicles can meet and fire at each other. So that's good.
I
don't
think
know.
for what it is, Kid Icarus would be the hardest to design an attraction
Oh,
for
absolutely,
because
absolutely.
there's so little to pull from at the moment. Like it's still a developing franchise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard really good things about Uprising, but
I think so too. But I think with Kid Icarus, they had the one game in the '80s,
uh,
didn't make any sequels, and when they had a trophy of hit in Melee.
right.
And I think everyone, for some reason, everyone saw that trophy. Even myself included, everyone saw that trophy and wanted more.
hmm
And I think that really inspired, like, to bring it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure,
Because then, of
sure.
course, he comes back in Brawl, and what else? And then they made the more games, and it just kept. You know what I mean?
Uh,
So I think it's Super Smash Brothers is is the reasoning for Kid Icarus being as
I
popular
mean,
as it
Super
is now.
Smash Brothers is the reason why a lot of things are as popular as they are now.
Oh yeah, Duck Hunt, Ice Climbers, like obvious Melee is the best Smash Brothers game, hands down.
I mean, to be fair, I love Duck Hunt like way before that was a Smash Brothers character, and I was actually like for years saying that that character should be in Smash Brothers. So,
Duck Hunt, in terms of the Wii U Smash Brothers, I kick butt as Pac-Man and Duck Hunt Dog. I was so excited that Duck Hunt Dog was a character, like you have no idea.
oh yeah, like I said, it's a character I've wanted for years.
I wish Ice Climbers were still around, but at the same time, I would take them Duck Hunt Dog.
Yeah, the only wish fulfillment character that will never happen in a Smash Brothers game that I just would be spectacular if it did would be Mike Tyson.
What?
Yeah, Mike Tyson from Punch Out.
Hmm.
You know, because Mike Tyson is the final boss in Punch Out.
I mean, well, you never know. Would he have the tattoo though?
Yes, yes, of course he'd have the tattoo.
And would he cannibalize Mario?
Oh God, that would be one of his special moves. Yes. All right. So that gives us to the final two. You know, it's kind of a bummer that Magic Feather and KMB did not have the time to complete a semifinals project, but of course life gets in the way, and
Yeah,
I
which you
do.
know,
I really think we need to focus on making season 15 a little more streamlined.
streamlined or heartlined.
Streamlined.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm sorry, I got hit with a fit of hiccups there for a second.
I figured.
Yeah, I think season 15 we need to make it more streamlined and not go on quite as long. I think having this many projects in season 14 was maybe a mistake. Like, I honestly think maybe we could have, if we stuck to the initial plan of having 12 projects, if we hadn't added those extra two, it might
Yeah,
have gone over a little bit more smoothly.
it's just because there's a certain point in any contest really where it just gets old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like that point was reached like a couple rounds ago.
Yeah, and
To be honest with you, I was very close to cutting the Nintendo project and just making the Universal Blue Sky the semifinals.
yeah, you know that could have worked. I mean, I'm really happy with how the season has turned out so far.
The only reason I didn't cut the Nintendo project is just because I really wanted that twist of Basket Buddy handpicking the different properties for people to use.
I think for the next few seasons, for sure, we need to do less, like you said, a smaller amount of projects, more streamlined, and I think less. I don't want to say less IP specific projects.
No, I'll say less IP specific projects for sure,
because there are IPs that we'd still use. But I mean, like, obviously last season, like, people didn't react well to like the Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, stuff like that.
Sure.
Steven Universe, like, and this season,
even though some of those projects, especially Steven Universe, did result in some good stuff.
Yes, exactly. But even like this season with like the Nintendo stuff, what was that round earlier?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Like, there's just people who don't, that's not their primary focus. So I think having more Disney-based projects will help as well. And we really did have that this season. Don't get me wrong, but even less universal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because this season was almost kind of like a split down the middle in terms of Disney and Universal.
Yeah, so I think maybe having a season where it's all Disney again, that might help. But you know,
That
we have
would actually be a cool throwback because we haven't done that since season 5.
yeah, like back in the day, there used to be really cool prompts related to Disney. Like you know, like I think one of my favorites. I don't remember the specifics about it. Was finding a way to have the handicapped guests going up the elevator in Haunted Mansion,
Right, yeah.
giving them an experience that's not just watching the portraits retract. Like stuff like that is what people want to do, I think, especially on WDW Magic. And not to say anything bad about the community, of course.
No. It's interesting how well Vision's Fantastic took to the IPs versus WDW Magic.
Yeah, it's a different time and it's a different world. So I think the next couple seasons, obviously these couple years off, a year off or so.
I think we're aiming to have season 15 be summer 2018.
Yes,
so it's about a year off.
We'll talk about that in a post, like in case no one's watched the video this far, or you know what I mean. But I think really what I'm excited for. If it's over the summer, maybe Jokers could be a part of it too.
Perhaps
of our little team, because I do like our Cisco and Ebert dynamic team.
Yeah, it's just you know, if you hadn't caught the bubonic plague.
That's very true. Well, hopefully I won't die.
Right. Yeah, please don't die, Garrett.
Because if I caught the plague this season, next season means I'll probably get hit by a car or something.
God.
No, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go into that joke I was gonna make. We're gonna continue on with the podcast.
Okay, so let's talk through the final project here, Garrett. This is a little bit more there's a little bit more kind of requirements than there was originally, because the original project was very streamlined. It was very much just like start over from scratch. Whereas with this project, the thing that I did to change it up is I essentially did like, okay, like we're going to take the same basic concepts of DCA 2.0, but just apply different themes to them. So like the 2 Paradise Pier Dark rides, you know, the new land, the new Main Street, the new transportation, aesthetic touch-ups.
This is what we're talking about, like in terms of Disney projects too.
Sure.
Like this is a major throwback.
Oh yeah.
This is like season 4.
Season 4, yeah, season 4 final project.
To show you how long this game has been around, because this was assigned during the revamp of DCA.
This was assigned, I believe, right after they announced.
Yeah. It was announced. It wasn't even started yet. Like they just announced.
No, it wasn't.
So like at the time this project was completed, we still had Sunshine Plaza. We still had
I'm pretty sure Midway Mania was there, but that's it.
I think they had started it. But I don't remember who it was. It might have been Buddy or King Mickey, but the brilliant idea that they had that stood out to me was having San Francisco as the opening land.
Yeah, I don't remember if that was Buddy or King Mickey either.
It maintained the Golden Gate Bridge aspect, which is I liked it because it was iconic, just didn't fit where it was.
No, it really didn't.
You know what I mean? Gate Bridge.
I am very used to the Golden Gate Bridge.
That's something you see every day.
Yes, pretty much every work day. Yes.
But it's the San Francisco idea just was really smart.
San Francisco is something that it's just ridiculous that literally the only thing San Francisco themed in California Adventure now is bathrooms.
Yeah, and the entrance to Little Mermaid.
Even that is like, I feel like the entrance to Little Mermaid more calls to mind like the Monterey Bay Aquarium nowadays. Because they don't have the Palace of Fine Arts anymore. It's just a dome. It's not the Palace of Fine Arts.
Well, it is to us.
And again, the Palace of Fine Arts is something I see every day now. So, I'm very used to it.
Exactly. I think I wish we included Hollywoodland as a part of the assignment.
Well, I feel like Hollywoodland, like they can do Hollywoodland if they want to with the aesthetic touch-ups.
I really hope that they do. I hope Basket Buddy does. I hope Snoopy does. Well, there's only two of them.
I hope that they don't do the easy route of just doing Grizzly Peak Airfield.
They could see the way I've always envisioned this, and I give them permission to steal this idea. I won't say anything. The way I've always envisioned it is turning that whole area into a 1950s campground, which is kind of what they did. Doing a 1950s campground and having the theme be Humphrey Bear and Ranger Woodlore.
Oh, that would be so good.
Like, you know, like have billboards with like, or right. Like the old Bear Country sign, which was actually written by, quote unquote, written by Woodlore.
Right, right.
Have that at the entrance. And then they could have a trackless dark ride where you're finding, you know, like it's a Donald Duck themed ride.
Right. I think we're getting a little like.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're camping with Donald, and Humphrey's trying to screw it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's and then of course having a country bear show in the campground. You know, the 5 Bear Rugs sing "California, Here We Come."
Oh God. Right.
Trixie sings "I Left My Heart in San Francisco." There's just so many possibilities.
Yeah, and speaking of possibilities, I'm just very excited. The possibility of 2 different Paradise Pier attractions. I'm really curious to see what that's going to bring about, especially because they can't use Toy Story or Little Mermaid.
Let's just hope that they don't go the Mystic Manor route.
What do you mean?
Most people I've found, it's a reoccurring idea to replace Goofy Sky School with the Mystic Manor.
I don't think that would be terrible, except that you wouldn't have any room for it.
I don't think it would be terrible either. I'm just saying I think it would be redundant.
I mean, not if you theme it to the Winchester Mystery House.
True. I've always had the idea to connect Paradise Pier, have the Golden Gate Bridge connect the pier to the Simba parking lot.
Oh, I like that.
You'd cross over the street, so they would kind of be out the outside world for a minute, but
right.
Cross over the street, and then the Simba parking lot could be this whole other land as part of California Adventure. They could add on like a Discovery Bay. They could add on which would add San Francisco to the park.
Right. Sure.
They could add on a Gold Rush themed area. They could add, a La Brea Tar Pits themed
Gold
area.
Rush is like a really interesting kind of like it's a pivotal part of California history, but it's already pretty well represented with Thunder Mountain.
That's the only issue. That would be the main issue. I always thought that they could do, they could revitalize Western River.
Yeah, but that would be a major undertaking, though.
They'd have to put it in Bugs Land or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If they did Western River, but like rethemed it to the California Gold Rush.
Oh my God! Oh, that'd be sweet.
So instead of like the Old West, you'd be in a Gold Rush town of San Francisco, or like the bandits are replaced by different things. And then I think this was a project, actually, wasn't it?
What? Yeah, Western River was, yes.
It was. I think somebody had done it for California Adventure. It was Disneyman.
Okay.
I think he put it in DCA, and no, it was Phineas the Ghost. And they did it, and the big part I remember from that attraction is they had an animatronic brown bear looking up at a red star. That's what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
So it's limitless possibilities with this prompt.
Okay, so do you want to go over the jurors?
Yeah, we'll go through them really quick.
Okay, really quick. We have oh, and by the way, I officially won the fantasy draft, which I'm kind of amazed by.
Which is bizarre because I was winning.
I know, right?
And you just turned around and beat me because KM had to be in a parade. I'm just kidding.
Oh God. Okay, so we have 9th place is M. Harrington. He had a couple solid moments in the season, especially with the Pinocchio project, kind of transitioning from the James and the Giant Peach to Pinocchio with the theater. Of course, M. Harrington is very much an old school kind of a purist sort of a player. Let's see. Joker's, of course, made it farther than I thought he would. It's a shame that he dropped out when he did, but I understand why he did it. Like I said, it's usually he'll last like maybe 2 or 3 rounds, but no, like even like the round before Joker's dropped out, we were still talking about him as like a winner candidate. So yeah, he was pretty involved all the way through.
I'm glad he got. I'm glad and happy that he got as far as he did.
Hmm. Okay, let's see. Mickey Fan was an interesting case where they never really made that much of a splash, but they were just like a pretty good underdog who, again, made it further than we thought they would. Of course, Pie on My Cake is kind of like the big sort of like he just had a lot of personal stuff going on, like a lot of projects and stuff on the side that he had going on that kind of ate into his time. And of course, Pie on My Cake was like our big winner pick for a long time.
Yeah, I'm actually, to be completely honest, I'm surprised at the final two, in a sense. I thought my personal prediction was it was going to be Pie on My Cake and Basket Buddy.
Yeah, and then after Pie on My Cake got eliminated, we thought it'd be KMB and Basket Buddy.
And then it was Snoopy and Basket Buddy. And that's not to put any offense towards Snoopy, obviously.
Right.
But it's just, things work out differently.
Okay, Disney Man. Disney Man's an interesting story because he started out of the gate really strong with with the Festival of Imagination projects, and then he sort of went under the radar for pretty much the entire merge. And then he really did come out of the gate with a few really solid additions and really solid contributions to projects during the merge portion of the game, only to be eliminated very quietly in 5th place. But of course, most importantly, Disney Man gave us that shocking and Garrett, I never actually talked through this with you on the podcast, the shocking moment where Snoopy and KMB were both nominated just by default because every single other person had a PO MVP.
I wasn't around for this.
No, you weren't.
I was in Europe.
Yeah.
What exactly happened? Because I remember you had messaged me saying that I was missing something.
Basket Buddy and KMB both had the Diamond PO MVPs.
That's right.
And Magic Feather had opened Walt's Vault, which gave her a fast pass to the next round, which we had decided on way in advance.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was, oh shoot, who had the rate? No, not KMB. I believe it was Basket Buddy, Disney Man. Shit. I'm terribly sorry. Pie. I'm sorry. Pie had the regular PO MVP, and so by default, Snoopy and KMB were the only two left.
Okay.
So yeah, that was crazy.
So they had to be nominated.
Yeah, they had to be nominated. Yeah.
And then what happened from there?
What happened from there is instead of voting, I decided to give them an individual project. And Garrett, if you haven't read these projects yet, you should because they're pretty good. Snoopy did a Vanilla Ice Cool as Ice project, and then KMB did oh shoot, what did KMB do? I forget. Darn it.
I read the Vanilla Ice one. I know that much.
I feel dumb for not remembering KMB's project.
Well, he did something.
Yeah. My memory, Garrett, we're talking about old age. We're talking about like getting older. That's like the first thing to go is memory. It's awful.
Wonderful.
I mean, I remember back in the day, So You Want to Be an Imagineer, I could like recite every project by every person throughout all like 10 of the seasons. Nope. Now I can't even remember who did what 2 projects ago.
Yeah, well, it happens.
Okay, so KMB, of course, I think KMB is probably the most memorable new player of the season. Big underdog. I loved his arc of, like even though he was on vacation, he was still super active. That was a fun kind of part of the season.
I hope he comes back too the next season.
I do too. And finally, we have Magic Feather, who is just not a ton to say about Magic Feather. She was just a very consistent presence the whole time through, very consistent with brainstorming, a very helpful team member, Yeah. And unfortunately, time got the better of her. But again, can't wait to see you again. So
Yeah.
all right, Garrett, I believe that'll about do it. I said we were going to go over the Universal Blue Sky projects, but I know you're on a time crunch.
Yeah, we could briefly talk about them.
I mean, we can, but I have other things I want to talk about with you off air.
Got it. Let's take care of that.
Okay. So,
but we'll cover them. I know we've been like weirdly schedule unuser friendly lately.
No, yeah, we haven't.
Mostly on my part.
This is like the first podcast that we're actually getting in on time in quite some time.
Yeah, yeah. The season's almost over too. When is the final project due?
The final project is due next Tuesday, so it's due in less than a week.
Next Tuesday. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So
I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay. And clearly, this is a sign that. Oh wait, no, never mind. I was gonna say this is a sign that they don't want us to talk about the Universal project, but no, there it is. I guess just really quick, it's a very practical project. I like the kind of I like the timing of it. How Super Nintendo World is like the big fixture of the park. It kind of reminds me of like having Cars Land and then Buena Vista Street. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Cars Land is obviously the big headliner, but this will go a long way towards improving the overall park experience.
Yeah.
Let's see. Of course, some really good. Darn it. Some really good concept art from Basket Buddy. If I could actually scroll down to see it, of the theater. Snoopy actually went out of his way. Did you see this? He did MP3s of all the of music loops. He actually made music loops.
What?
Yeah.
Where do you see this?
Look.
Oh my God! There's a link right there.
Yeah.
God, sometimes I miss those things.
I know, right?
Snoopy, yo, hit me up. How do you make music loops?
This is actually something that he did back in season 10, I believe.
He did. I remember that.
Yeah.
They did like a movie show or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Right? Okay, and then here's the concept art I was talking about. I like how this is like kind of an amalgamation of different like architectural styles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and finally with the ride is fine. I think it's just kind of like it's a cool sort of modernization of the tram tour from Hollywood. The only thing I have a problem with is that it just kind of feels like there's too many screens, but granted, I guess that's realistic because Universal just has a giant fetish for screens these days. So I'm just hoping Super Nintendo World is more practical.
I really, you know what? From the videos and things, it looks like there's practical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if
I could imagine I could imagine like the Mario Kart attraction being mostly screens, but
I think the Donkey Kong one will be more practical.
Yeah.
Like I can picture like the sets will be real. Like there'll be like rocky like walls and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I feel like there's going to be screens for the mine carts that like race past you. You know what I mean?
Sounds about right. Right.
Did you ever play Donkey Kong 64?
No, I haven't.
Did you play Donkey Kong Country?
Of course, I played Donkey Kong Country.
We know how they have like
I love all those games.
They have the Kremlings and the mine carts.
Yeah.
I feel like they'll have those like ride by.
I also feel like there's going to be a lot of fake track that just doesn't get used. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. God, I can't wait.
I know. Okay, so just to wrap it up, Mew, final two, Basket Buddy versus Snoopy. I think clearly Basket Buddy is probably in the power position right now. I think Snoopy's got an uphill battle. Of course, Basket Buddy works incredibly well with solo projects. We've seen that throughout the season. Mm-hmm. However, Snoopy has tricks up his sleeve. Snoopy has a very, very distinct writing style where he gets very into the backstory of his attractions. He has a good sense of humor about his work, and as we've seen, he'll go above and beyond with certain things like the music loops. So at this point, I would give Snoopy probably about a 30% chance of winning, while I'd give Basket Buddy probably about a 70% chance of winning.
I'm gonna say 50-50.
Oh, I don't think it's 50-50, but I mean, I'm not trying to say like Snoopy has no chance. I'm saying like Basket Buddy, I think clearly has an edge.
In terms of concept art and everything, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to remember we're in the hands of the jury.
Yeah, right.
This is going to be the jury's decision. Obviously, you and I will get feedback,
Mm-hmm.
but it really depends on how they played their game with everyone this season. You know what I mean?
Which is interesting because I feel like Basket Buddy, certainly commands respect from people, but I feel like Snoopy, and this is a strength of Snoopy that kind of won him the game last time, is that he's an incredibly social player. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's really good at making friends. So
if you remember when I won based off my my friendliness.
Yes, for sure.
I didn't win based off my final project.
And Basket Buddy also, like, it could, like, there could be a situation where people are just so disenfranchised with him just steamrolling over everyone and just feeling like they never had a shot against him,
mm-hmm.
that could work against him. But of course, this is just all in the hands of the jury. That's why I love a jury format. There's no real hard and fast rules for how you vote,
Yeah.
You're just voting for who you want to see win. So
yeah, and that's why it's a 50-50. Of course, one project might be better than the other. They might be the same.
Right.
It really depends on what the jury thinks.
Okay. All right. So, Mew, I think that is about it. So we will be back. I mean, I would like to do a results show with you, Mew. I would like to read the results live on air with you, if we could possibly do that.
If anything, I'd have to do my old silent, creepy appearance.
But I mean, like, if we had like 24 hours for voting and then did the results like in the afternoon sometime.
Oh, yeah, that might actually be feasible.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't think you know your work schedule yet this week for next week, but
yeah, I usually work at 4.
Yeah, but I mean, like Wednesday, like that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we would do the voting, and then either Wednesday or Thursday we'd have the results.
That might be most feasible.
Okay. So in the meantime, folks, thank you so much for your patience. Congrats to Basket Buddy and Snoopy for making it to the final 2.
Good luck.
One thing we never went over, Mew, really quick. What do you think of having both the winners in the final 2? Like, and finally, like, this season is definitively going to give us our first 2-time winner.
I think it's exciting.
Yeah. Okay.
We're in for a treat.
All right, so see y'all later, everyone. I'm Disney Rules. I'm everyone's favorite So You Want to Be an Imagineer player. I'm the best So You Want to Be an Imagineer player of all time.
And I'm Blue Dragon 5.